Hello, all you beautiful queer souls out there, and welcome to the Queer Talk Show. My name is Eddie Fritz.
And I'm Justin Gerhard.
Now, before we get into what this show is going to be all about, let's talk about this word queer.
It's a word that has so much history and yet has also been the source of rebirth for a lot of people in our generation now. You know, queer is not just for gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, two-spirited, questioning people. We challenge people that are straight to consider themselves more than just straight. Because queer is different, it's authentic, it's unique. Queer is an identity, queer is a way of expressing yourself. Queer can be your sexuality. It can be this beautiful umbrella that all humans can exist under. And that's why we welcome everybody to this show.
Right now, we've got a couple of experts that are going to be on a regular basis.
Hello, queer friends and family. My name is Rahim Thawer. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm Queer Talk's mental health expert. I'll be joining my friends Eddie and Justin to talk about queer relationships. We're going to talk about opening up, monogamy, what it means to have difficult conversations, to process loss and heartbreak. We're going to talk about psychological theories like attachment, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of communication. And of course, we'll talk about sex.
Hey, my name is Baniak. I am the founder of Still Water Alchemy. I'm going to be Queer Talk's astrology expert. So coming back every week to let you know what's going on in the cosmos, what the planets are doing, how they're talking to each other, and how you can use these transits and energies to help you with love, sex, money, auspicious timing, and really take advantage of an untapped resource that really honestly separates millionaires from billionaires. And having that in your back pocket is going to be very beneficial as we move through the rest of 2020.
All right, Ed, before we get into all of that, what's going on in your world?
I came across this podcast that Eckhart Tolle and Oprah did. This podcast has literally changed my life, and it's changed my outlook and my attitude, and it's incredible. I just highly recommend this. He says, if you're not accepting the moment, enjoying the moment, having enthusiasm for the moment, in one way or another, it causes suffering for yourself and for others.
Because you're not in the present.
Because you're not in the present. I am actually doing that, and I'm telling you guys, it freaking works.
And this is why, I know you're so passionate about this, because you are evidence of applying this understanding and having it create impact, change, transformation in your own life. I'm in New York City, if you're watching this for the first time, and just watching the way America is dealing, or leadership in America is dealing with the coronavirus, COVID-19, it's getting worse, and I think we always thought it would get worse.
This is not going away, people. And they keep telling us.
Wear a mask.
Social distancing, wear a mask, and wash your hands. Why is that so difficult? Why are people not doing that? I don't understand.
And it's become political. Full-grown human beings are walking into stores being told to wear a mask. They don't want to wear a mask, and they literally start peeing on the floor in protest.
I didn't hear that.
It's happened.
Oh my God.
And I just think it's outrageous that something so simple as a way to protect yourself and the world around you has become a way to say that I'm for America or I'm not for America.
The thing is, this is not an American thing. This is not all about America.
No.
This is happening in the world. We don't even this is happening big time in Mexico. It's happening big time in India. It's happening Brazil. And it's this is everywhere.
It's such a global, it's a pandemic. It's global. I think it's time to dive into what our experts have got prepared. Rahim, you're up first.
A lot of people struggle when there's a breakup because one person still is in love with the other person, the other one isn't. So it's a lot easier for that person who isn't in love to be okay being friends, or to be just completely apart from the relationship. So how does someone the person who's still in love, how do they deal with that?
So if I were in a relationship that had just ended and I still want to be in the relationship, but I'm settling for a friendship, that puts me in a precarious position in terms of my feelings, right? Because I think I'm not necessarily, I'm not ready to be friends. I'm still mourning the loss of what I thought could be. So I think friendship and making past partners part of your chosen family is incredibly beautiful and important. And I think it's a very queer way to be in the world. But I think we have to be careful about trying to make it happen too quickly.
So you think it's healthy for like two people that have been together to eventually form a friendship? Or is there a time that should be waited? What's your advice in that?
Yeah. So I can't give a specific prescription for how it should look. A lot of us, unfortunately, are in relationship dynamics that are toxic or have been unhealthy, right? So if you've experienced a lot of differences in power in the relationship, maybe you felt like somebody's been emotionally harmful or abusive, or for a long time you've talked down to each other, the dynamic has gotten a bit bitter. These are just some examples of relationships where you can't jump to being friends too quickly, and you might also decide that it's not healthy for you to pursue a friendship in the future.
A lot of people just want to hang on, and they find reasons and excuses to hang on, to keep that person in their life, thinking that, oh, maybe they're going to change their mind, or maybe it's going to come back.
Yes.
So how do you actually really, let go?
It's a great question. I think it's incredibly difficult. One of the things I would be concerned about is, if you're settling for some kind of proximity to somebody, but it's not what you want the relationship to be, I would worry that you would be vulnerable or putting yourself in a position to get hurt over and over. If my mind is still in the place of a relationship and I desperately want proximity to you, I might then be in a position to tolerate bad behavior from you, right? Because I become more vulnerable because I would experience you as holding a lot of the cards. So I think that could be a dangerous place to be. One of the classic things, in psychotherapy or psychoanalysis is this idea of separation anxiety, right? And I think we experience that all the time in our relationships in our family of origin, and in all of our friendships, and in all of our work relationships, and, right? So the separation is about how comfortable do I feel and how much of myself do I feel like I've lost if I take space from this person, right? And difficulty separating is a lifelong thing that we have to always work on, because it can be hard to figure out who we are separate from somebody else. And that's not our fault. It's been taught to us, right? We've been taught to be anxious when we're separate from somebody else who fulfills certain needs. And so there's a lot of unlearning that I think needs to happen. If you feel like being in the headspace where you still want to be in proximity to somebody is not emotionally abusive, right? But it's useful. There's still post-relationship conversations happening. You're processing things. You're still able to express certain kinds of love from each other. This might actually be an opportunity to see what other kind of, new innovative relationship can form. I really believe in the innovation of relationships, particularly for queer folks.
I think being around each other virtually or in person proximity is going to make it more challenging, or rather the communication is going to have to be pretty clear in order for you to even understand each other, and knowing that there's going to be emotion wrapped up in that communication because one is feeling more than the other potentially. So I think social media is an example of it. Like, you just have the access to like see what they're doing and be bombarded by their activity, and being jealous of that activity, wanting to be with them during that activity. It's constant reminders that then you just get wrapped up in the story that is of the past.
So if you were to kind of wrap this up, sum it up, what would you say?
I think based on what you've even shared, Eddie, in your relationship, it reminds me that relationships are an opportunity. They're like safe attachments and opportunities for growth and healing. And we do a lot of learning about ourselves and other people in relationships. I think that's why we seek them, even when they're not always satisfying and there's so many problems. There's lots of hope and there's lots of growth that comes from them. I think we learn to love ourselves in part through relationships. And so I think, centering this concept of queer relationships and innovative queer relationships means that we challenge normative ideas about kinship, goals, the eventual outcome. Maybe the relationship doesn't look as linear as other people might think it should. Along the way, I would caution us to also think about what's coming up for us that is unhealthy or that feels toxic, or that what is it about other people that maybe lowers our self-confidence or makes us feel bad about ourselves. If I were to give a message to people out there, I would say, give yourself space to grieve and have self-compassion for all the things you wanted that didn't happen or didn't come to fruition. Like, be kind to yourself in that process. There's often so much to grieve, and try not to think about ends of relationships as relationship failures. It's never a failure.
I love it.
Thank you very much. This has been awesome, and we look forward to hearing what you're going to talk about on our next episode. All right, let's see what Matt has to say, our queer expert astrologer.
So right now, everyone, we're in Leo season. This is spotlight energy. This is big hair, body, sex, confidence. Finally, we're in a period of 2020 where we don't have any major retrogrades. We don't have dense energy from eclipses. This is a time truly to let your hair down and enjoy. Leo's ruling body is the sun. And if you know any Leos, they love to be worshipped. They're hot, they're powerful. I always like to give the analogy of J-Lo wearing that essential, beautiful Versace emerald dress, rocking down the runway, and people are just screaming at her. Like, that's Leo energy. We worship the sun. People literally chase it. So this is the time of 2020 to put yourself out there in the spotlight. A lot of people have been working very hard behind the scenes, creating websites, businesses, writing books, working on their body. And now things are opening up to allow you to use this energy to your benefit. Now is not the time to hide in the shadows, because there's going to be other signs in the zodiac that are going to take that spotlight and elbow you out of the way, or throw marbles a la showgirl style, and make sure that you don't get that moment. So you want to utilize this energy to showcase your talents, your business, go after that hot guy or hot girl, or both, to make sure that you're fulfilling something that you truly desire. A really key transit to note coming up is that the sun is going to be in a harmonious aspect to Mars. Mars is the planet of aggression, of sex, of confidence. Currently, it's in the sign of Aries. So this is like Spartan, Athena, warrior, athlete type energy. So you have the sun in Leo, which is spotlight, intense energy, and Mars in Aries, which is big, bold, confident, one-hit knockout. This is going to be a time for you to really utilize this confidence. You might even just feel more confident. You wake up, you feel sexy. All of these inner doubts, inner saboteur, they're not going to be as rampant. And this is all going to start on August 11th, leading up to a really strong, direct, harmonious aspect on August 15th, which is a Saturday. So really take note on August 11th, which is a Tuesday, how you're feeling. This would be a great time to launch new content, to promote a service, to have a sale, to put yourself in that spotlight. Be confident and don't apologize for it. That really is going to be the time to showcase yourself throughout this entire Leo season. So please, please, please take advantage of it. Channel that inner J-Lo or that inner Spartan warrior and go after what you want, because this truly is the time to do it. And on Wednesday, August 19th, we have a really important lunar phase with the new moon in Leo. So I'm going to reveal how you can use this energy to manifest new goals and intentions to your best benefit. So come back. I'll see you then.
You guys are in for a treat in the upcoming episode because, you know, he's going to talk about stuff that we all need to know. And it's
Yeah,
really
where has he
exciting.
been our whole lives? Come on.
Exactly. So we're really excited to have both these guys on the Queer Network, and we're going to have more. You know, we're going to have someone in talking about spirituality and food. We're going to have a food person who's, you know, maybe a nutritionist, and someone to talk about foodie stuff because we all love food.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you've never been here before, please subscribe to the Queer Network.
And we look forward to seeing all you beautiful queer people next time.
Keep it queer.